Hi, this is Dr. Steve from Misericordia University. Welcome to this video technology tutorial.
In this tutorial, let's consider how to create charts in Excel. Creating a chart is easy, provided that you have created the spreadsheet in an appropriate way. And here's what I mean. Consider these two spreadsheets and compare them. When you're creating a spreadsheet, ensure that all the information is contiguous. In other words, everything is touching, as in this example. Notice in this upper example, there are blank rows here. There are blank columns in between these data. This will not make for a well-designed spreadsheet, and it will certainly mess up your chart. So do not skip lines, rows, columns, and so on when you're creating a spreadsheet. Now, once you've done that, it's very easy to create a chart. This spreadsheet is well designed. Highlight everything. Go to the Insert menu on the ribbon, and let's choose a column. And I'm going to choose either 2D or 3D, or one of these other choices, and I'm going to choose the columns that are side by side individual colors. And right now I'm not going to choose these with two colors in the same bar. That's considered a stacked bar, and we'll take a look at that in a few moments. I'm going to do 3D. Now it's a graphic. It's pretty much done. I can move it to the side, and it's looking good. Let's go down and let's create a pie chart. Now, a pie chart involves one column's worth of numbers that add up to 100%. So I'm going to look at this example where we've got a number of students and they're selling boxes of candy. If we tally all of these up, the total is 37 boxes of candy sold, and that represents 100% of my class's candy sales. I've highlighted this information. Now I'm not going, this total and 37, that's just an addition of everything here. I'm not going to highlight that. I don't want that in the chart. I'm going to select a pie chart, and I can do a regular pie or an exploded pie or a 3D pie. I'm going to choose the traditional pie at this point. When you're working with a pie chart, notice it's pretty much done at this point. But if I right-click over a section of the pie, I can now add data labels to this. Now, once I create a data label, then I can right-click over any section of the pie a second time, and I can now format those data labels. Now, if I simply move this dialog to the side, I can select various options until I determine things that are very appropriate for me to show as those labels. If I don't show labels when I'm using a pie, then we trust that the person's printer is working well and that they can distinguish and compare like this salmon color and find it over in this list. And that is not always 100%. It's much better if we can put labels in here. Notice that we can move these labels around as well if we chose to. And if we move them out enough, then a little leader line will come back to show where they go. And that's especially helpful if you're working with a small piece of the pie. Now, sometimes I don't want to select all the information that's located in a spreadsheet. For example, here I find that I've got several tests, and that's going to be too busy, and I don't even want to look at all of that information at once. Now, typically, I would like to, if I could highlight this first column with the student names, it would be ideal if I could go in and just choose test 3 and 4, but as you know, you kind of have to highlight everything together. Here's a trick. Hold the Control key after you select the first column. So let me select the first column. Now press and hold the Control key on the keyboard. Now I can go and select particular columns. And now I can go and finish the process by saying Insert a chart. And now I can work with that. Now, we skipped the idea of stacked bar. Here would be an example of when and why you would want to use a stacked bar. Here I have an example of students selling tickets for their school. And every month they're selling more tickets, and in the end their total will be what they've of course sold for that entire marking period or for that school year. Maybe I'd like to chart and be able to recognize what did everybody do in every month, as well as what did they do in total. I'm going to start by highlighting all the material, and this is the time you would want to use a stacked bar. So I'm going to go into the column or the bar, and I'm going to not choose this first column's worth anymore, but rather one of these stacked bars. Notice that in this chart you can quickly at a glance see who sold the majority of candy overall over a 3-month period. But we can also see how did everybody do by looking at, on a monthly basis, by just looking at the blue bars or the red bars only or the green. So we've actually got 2 different bits of information we can draw from here. Now let's take a look at one quick issue that can arise on the y-axis when you're creating charts. For teachers, typically we give tests and other assignments that range from 0 to 100%, or from 0 to 100 points. Sometimes Excel will automatically, based on the grade information that's inputted into the spreadsheet, it may automatically determine, well, it doesn't need to go all the way up to 100%. So the y-axis is this vertical axis on the left of the chart. Notice, based on the grades, unfortunately in this class, the students, like no one got all the way up to in the 90s or a 100 perfect assignment. Because of this, Excel has decided we don't need to show the 100, 0 to 100. How could we correct this? Because really right now it looks like, on first glance, several people are almost acing this. In reality, they're far underneath the 100 mark. How do we correct this? Simply right-click over that axis, say Format that axis, and now what we can do is the minimum is okay, it's automatic, but it's 0, that's good. The maximum automatically went to 80. Let's fix that to 100. So for grades, they should always go from 0 to 100. Now take a look at this chart. Notice that the students on first glance don't appear to be doing as well as they did in the first chart. The first chart was misleading and it was skewed. This video ends the series of tutorials in Excel. I hope you've enjoyed watching them.